Top 15 Airplane Crashes. Disasters that changed aviation forever. Flying is statistically one of the safest ways to travel. But when tragedy strikes, the consequences are immense. The history of aviation is marked not only by remarkable innovation, but by devastating accidents that forced the industry to transform. These are the top 15 airplane crashes of all time, ranked not only by death toll, but also by the scale of the tragedy, its impact on aviation safety, and the indelible scars left behind. This is not just a recounting of disasters. This is a story of resilience, reform, and remembering the lessons that cost thousands of lives. Number 15. Alaska Airlines, Flight 261, 2000. Route, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, Seattle, USA, via San Francisco. Aircraft, McDonnell, Douglas MD-83, fatalities, 88. On January 31, 2000, Alaska Airlines Flight 261 suffered a fatal mechanical failure while flying over the Pacific Ocean. The flight crew noticed increasing difficulty maintaining control of the horizontal stabilizer. Unbeknownst to them, the jack screw, the threaded component that adjusts the tail's angle, had worn out due to improper lubrication. As the aircraft lost pitch control, it entered a series of violent nosedives. The crew, demonstrating exceptional composure, attempted multiple recovery maneuvers. For moments, they even managed to level the aircraft. But, without functional pitch control, the MD-83 eventually flipped upside down and plunged nose-first into the ocean off the coast of California. Impact. The NTSB concluded that insufficient maintenance and lack of oversight contributed directly to the crash. The FAA imposed new regulations on aircraft component inspection intervals. Alaska Airlines revamped its maintenance procedures, and the industry saw renewed focus on component lifecycle monitoring. This tragedy underscored how a seemingly small maintenance oversight can unravel in mid-air with catastrophic consequences. Number 14. Air France, Flight 447, 2009. Route, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil to Paris, France. Aircraft, Airbus A330-200 fatalities. 228, June, 1909. Flight 447 vanished while crossing the Atlantic, and for years its fate remained a mystery. The Airbus A330 encountered a storm system en route, and ice crystals caused the aircraft's pitot tubes, essential for airspeed measurement, to malfunction. Without accurate speed readings, the autopilot disengaged. The pilots, misinterpreting the stall warnings, pulled back on the stick, which worsened the stall. Despite repeated warnings and alarms, the aircraft remained in a stalled state and crashed into the ocean. The black boxes were not recovered until nearly 2 years later, providing long-awaited answers. Impact. Global pilot training was overhauled to include manual stall recovery at high altitudes. Aircraft sensors were redesigned for improved reliability in extreme conditions. The tragedy triggered a re-evaluation of automation dependency in commercial aviation. Flight 447 is a chilling example of how human confusion amid system failures can be fatal, and why training must match technology. Number 13. TWA Flight 800, 1996. Route, New York, USA, Paris, France. Aircraft, Boeing 747-100 fatalities, 230. Just 12 minutes after takeoff from JFK Airport, TWA Flight 800 exploded in mid-air off the coast of Long Island. Eyewitnesses reported seeing a fireball descending into the Atlantic. Initial speculation included terrorism, but after a 4-year investigation, the NTSB determined the explosion originated in the center fuel tank. An electrical short had ignited fuel vapors inside the tank. The blast tore the aircraft apart, scattering debris over miles of ocean. All passengers and crew perished. Impact. The crash led to mandatory design changes in fuel tank inerting systems. Airlines and manufacturers implemented protocols to reduce flammable vapor concentrations. It also initiated sweeping changes in wiring inspection and repair practices. TWA 800 remains one of the most politically and emotionally charged crashes, symbolizing how aging systems and minor sparks can create devastation. Number 12. Lion Air Flight 610, 2018. Route, Jakarta, Indonesia. Pangkal Pinang, Indonesia. Aircraft, Boeing 737 MAX 8 fatalities, 189. Just 13 minutes after takeoff, Lion Air Flight 610 plunged into the Java Sea. The aircraft, a brand new Boeing 737 MAX 8, was equipped with a controversial new feature, the Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System, MCS. The MCS, fed by a faulty angle of attack sensor, falsely believed the plane was stalling and repeatedly pushed the nose down. The pilots struggled to override the system, but were ultimately unable to regain control. Impact exposed Boeing's internal shortcuts in aircraft certification and its failure to inform pilots of MCAS. Led to the grounding of the entire 737 MAX fleet worldwide. Boeing restructured its leadership, paid billions in compensation, and revised its software. This crash, and the one that followed in Ethiopia, demonstrated how software, left unchecked, can override human skill with deadly precision. Number 11. American Airlines Flight 191, 1979. Route: Chicago, USA to Los Angeles, USA. Aircraft: McDonnell Douglas DC-10. Fatalities: 273. On May 25, 1979, America witnessed its deadliest aviation accident on home soil. American Airlines Flight 191 was barely airborne when its left engine detached, flipping over the top of the wing. Crucially, the severed engine ripped through vital hydraulic lines, disabling systems meant to stabilize the aircraft. The plane banked sharply, stalled, and exploded into a ball of fire just moments after takeoff. Impact. The FAA temporarily grounded the DC-10 fleet. Engine installation procedures were standardized to prevent future incidents. Public confidence in wide-body aircraft briefly plummeted. Flight 191 remains a grim reminder that the smallest installation error on the ground can turn lethal in seconds after liftoff. Number 10. Air India Flight 182, 1985. Route: Toronto, Canada, Delhi, India, via London. Aircraft: Boeing 747-237B. Fatalities: 329. On June 23, 1985, Air India Flight 182 was cruising at 31,000 feet over the Atlantic Ocean when a bomb exploded in the forward cargo hold. The aircraft disintegrated mid-air and crashed off the coast of Ireland. All 329 people on board were killed, including 268 Canadian citizens. The bomb had been planted by Sikh extremists based in Canada. In a separate but coordinated attack, a second bomb intended for another Air India flight exploded at Tokyo's Narita Airport, killing 2 baggage handlers. Impact: Canada's largest mass murder in history and the worst aviation disaster involving a Boeing 747. Prompted major reforms in airline security, baggage screening, and intelligence sharing between countries. Led to the creation of the Canadian Air Transport Security Authority, CATSA. This crash showed that aviation terrorism knows no borders, and that domestic intelligence failures can have international consequences. Number 9. Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, 2019. Route: Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, Nairobi, Kenya. Aircraft: Boeing 737 MAX 8. Fatalities: 157. Just 5 months after Lion Air 610, another brand new Boeing 737 MAX 8 plunged into the earth just 6 minutes after takeoff. Again, the MCAS system, relying on a single faulty sensor, activated, forcing the nose down repeatedly, despite pilot intervention. The similarities between the two crashes were undeniable. The global fleet of 737 MAX aircraft was immediately grounded. Investigations revealed a disturbing pattern of negligence. Impact further exposed Boeing's prioritization of profits over safety. The FAA and other aviation authorities faced harsh criticism for lax oversight. Initiated sweeping reforms in aircraft certification, pilot training, and corporate accountability. This wasn't just a plane crash, it was a crisis of confidence in the aviation industry's moral compass. Number 8. United Airlines Flight 232, 1989. Route: Denver, USA, Chicago, USA, emergency landing in Sioux City. Aircraft: McDonnell Douglas DC-1010. Fatalities: 111, 185 survived. On July 19, 1989, United 232 suffered an uncontained engine failure when the tail-mounted engine exploded. Shrapnel severed all three of the aircraft's hydraulic systems, leaving the plane with no conventional control. In a feat of airmanship that is still taught in aviation schools today, the crew, with the help of a DC-10 flight instructor who happened to be a passenger, managed to steer the plane using only engine thrust. The aircraft crash-landed in Sioux City, Iowa. Though the landing was violent and the aircraft broke apart, 185 of the 296 passengers and crew survived. Impact reinforced the importance of crew resource management, CRM, in crisis situations. Led to new standards in redundant hydraulic system design. Became a symbol of heroism and human capability under impossible odds. This wasn't just a tragedy. It was also a miracle of survival. Number 7. Pan Am Flight 103, 1988. Route: London, UK, New York, USA. Aircraft: Boeing 747-121. Fatalities: 270, including 11 on the ground. December 21, 1988. Pan Am 103 was 38 minutes into its transatlantic flight when a bomb hidden in a suitcase exploded in the cargo hold. The aircraft broke apart in midair over Lockerbie, Scotland. Wreckage rained down on the town, killing 11 residents in addition to the 259 on board. The bombing was later linked to Libyan intelligence operatives. Impact sparked an international manhunt and years of diplomatic tension with Libya. Changed international baggage screening and explosive detection policies. Prompted creation of global aviation security agreements. Pan Am 103 stands as a grim reminder that the war on terror has long included the skies. Number 6. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, 2014. Route: Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing. China aircraft: Boeing 777-200ER. Fatalities: 239, presumed. This is the crash that mystified the world. On March 8, 2014, MH370 vanished from radar just 38 minutes into the flight. Despite extensive international search efforts, the main wreckage has never been found. The aircraft is believed to have deviated from its flight path, turned west, and eventually disappeared over the southern Indian Ocean. The exact cause remains unknown, though theories include hijacking, pilot action, and mechanical failure. Impact spurred the largest and most expensive search in aviation history. Led to global recommendations for real-time aircraft tracking. Raised pressing questions about pilot mental health and airline oversight. MH370 represents the most haunting aviation mystery of the 21st century. A story without an ending, and a tragedy that redefined the meaning of missing. Number 5. Saudi Arabian Airlines, Flight 163, 1980. Route: Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Jeddah, Saudi Arabia aircraft. Lockheed L-1011, TriStar. Fatalities: 301. On August 19, 1980, Flight 163 returned to Riyadh after a fire broke out in the rear cargo compartment shortly after takeoff. The crew made a safe landing. But then, a fatal mistake. Instead of evacuating immediately, the plane taxied for 3 minutes. By the time doors were opened, all 301 occupants had died from smoke inhalation. Impact overhauled emergency evacuation procedures. Mandated enhanced cargo fire detection and suppression systems. Emphasized immediate response over procedural delays in emergencies. This tragedy proved that surviving a fire in the air doesn't always mean surviving on the ground. Number 4. Turkish Airlines, Flight 981, 1974. Route: Paris, France, London, UK aircraft, McDonnell. Douglas DC-10, fatalities, 346. Just 10 minutes after takeoff from Paris, the cargo door of Flight 981 blew open mid-flight. The resulting decompression severed control cables, making the aircraft unmanageable. It crashed into the Ermenonville forest, killing everyone on board. What made it worse? The same issue had occurred before, but the design was not fixed. Impact prompted urgent redesign of the DC-10's cargo door system. Required proper translations and illustrations in aircraft maintenance manuals. strengthened international cooperation in certifying aircraft safety features. This crash taught the world that ignoring a known flaw can doom hundreds, and that communication in engineering is a matter of life and death. Number 3. Charkhi Dadri Mid-Air Collision, 1996. Route: Delhi, India. Airspace: aircraft, Saudi Arabian Airlines, Flight 763, and Kazakhstan Airlines Flight 1907, fatalities 349. On November 12, 1996, two commercial jets collided in midair outside New Delhi. The Kazakh aircraft descended below its assigned altitude due to language misunderstandings and poor radar coverage. It struck the Saudi jet from below. Wreckage rained over villages. There were no survivors. Impact: forced global adoption of TCAS, Traffic Collision Avoidance System. India upgraded air traffic control infrastructure and standardized English communication. Highlighted the importance of pilot language proficiency. This was one of the few disasters where the sky wasn't big enough, and it forever changed how pilots maintain separation. Number 2. Japan Airlines Flight 123, 1985. Route: Tokyo to Osaka, Japan. Aircraft: Boeing 747 SR, fatalities 520, only 4 survived. The deadliest single aircraft crash in history. On August 12, 1985, Flight 123 suffered a catastrophic failure of its rear pressure bulkhead, a repair done incorrectly 7 years earlier. The decompression tore off the tail, disabling all flight controls. The pilots fought for 32 minutes to save the plane, steering it with engine thrust alone. But the aircraft crashed into Mount Takamagahara. Impact: overhauled Japan's aircraft repair certification process. Boeing revised inspection and repair documentation. Became a case study in pilot perseverance and mechanical risk. This was a tragedy that showed how errors can remain buried for years until they explode in the sky. Number 1. Tenerife Airport Disaster, 1977. Location: Los Rodeos Airport, now Tenerife North, Canary Islands. Aircraft: KLM Flight 4805 and Pan Am Flight 1736. Fatalities: 583. The deadliest aviation accident in history wasn't caused by weather or mechanical failure, but by miscommunication and fog. Due to a terrorist threat at another airport, dozens of flights were diverted to Tenerife. Runways became crowded. In dense fog, 2 Boeing 747s, 1 KLM, 1 Pan Am, misunderstood air traffic instructions. The KLM aircraft began its takeoff roll, believing it had clearance. The Pan Am aircraft was still taxiing on the same runway. They collided at full speed. Impact: sparked global standardization of cockpit phraseology. Birth of crew resource management, CRM, as essential training. Airports worldwide began deploying surface movement radar in low visibility conditions. Tenerife is the textbook case of how words, or the lack of them, can kill. Final thoughts. Learning from the sky's darkest hours. These 15 disasters form the foundation of modern aviation safety. Every passenger, every crew member, every life lost brought forth change. From stronger aircraft design, better pilot training, fire detection, tracking systems, to standardized communication. Each tragedy transformed the skies. As we fly today, we do so in aircraft shaped by these stories. Because aviation never forgets. Which story moved you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're passionate about aviation safety, be sure to subscribe. Until next time, stay safe and respect the sky.